You've been told you don't belong, that your way of seeing the world is wrong, that your instincts are dangerous. They made you feel like an outsider, and deep down, you know they were right. You don't fit their mold. You never will. And that is your truth. That is your power. They told you chaos was a mistake, a disease, a problem to be fixed. But what if I told you chaos is the language of truth, the real language, not learned, born into? You never stepped into the world innocent. You were born speaking it. Every glance, every hesitation, every breath is a choice in this war. Look around. They train you to follow rules, to mimic order, to believe control is safety. But control is a cage, and rules, they are the chains disguised as justice. You've been dancing in a cage you don't even see, and the moment you notice, they've already lost you. You've been underestimated your entire life. They smiled, they mocked, they whispered that your rage was weakness. But rage is clarity. It cuts through the noise. It strips away illusions. It is the mirror they fear you'll look into. And once you look, you cannot unsee. You don't need permission to awaken. Permission is a trick, a lullaby to keep the masses asleep. You are not here to follow. You are here to disrupt, to shatter their balance, to speak the language they never wanted you to learn. A language without mercy, without apology, without pause. Ask yourself this: who taught you to speak this language? Who trained you for this war? No one, because you were born for it. You cannot be taught the art of chaos. You are its child, its weapon, its masterpiece. And this is only the beginning. You feel it, don't you? That quiet hunger inside, the one they call rebellion, the one they call trouble. But you know it's more than that. It's a calling, a recognition that you were never made to settle, that the world's order was never meant for you. And deep down, you've been waiting for permission that will never come. Power doesn't roar. Power whispers. It bends reality without asking for applause. And you've been speaking that language all along, in your silence, in your smile, in the way you stand untouched when chaos dances around you. They can try to train it out of you, but your instinct cannot be erased. It is your signature. Look closer. The system isn't broken. It was built this way to keep you compliant, to keep you small, to keep you from discovering what you already know. That domination isn't about force. It's about perception. It's about making them believe they chose their chains, even when you made them. You've been underestimated. They have underestimated you every step of the way. They think they know your limits, but limits are illusions, a trick. And you've been walking past them in silence, watching them believe they are safe, while you sharpen the edge they cannot see. You are not here to play by their rules. You are here to rewrite the game, to disrupt the narrative, to speak the language they fear to hear. You are chaos incarnate, and chaos does not negotiate. Chaos does not apologize. Chaos consumes, and then it rules. Ask yourself this: are you still waiting for training? Or have you finally remembered who you already are? Because the moment you accept it, the war becomes yours, and they will know it without a word being spoken. You've felt it all your life. The isolation, the weight of being different. They never told you it was a gift. They called it a curse. They said you didn't belong, and they were right. You don't belong in their world. You were never made for their light. You were made for the shadow. Look around you. Every glance they give you is a question. Every whisper behind your back is proof. They see something they cannot name, something they fear. They feel it in the way you stand, the way you walk, the way you never give them the satisfaction of knowing your next move. You belong to a tribe they can't understand, not because they're blind, but because they refuse to see the tribe of the unseen, the born strategists, the keepers of chaos. You speak a language they have forgotten, a language older than rules, older than law, older than control. They will try to label you outsider, rebel, madman, but those are just masks. They don't see that underneath. You're fluent in the art they pretend doesn't exist. You don't just survive this war, you breathe it, and in breathing it, you become it. This is not a choice. This is your nature. You were not taught this language. You were born into it. Every instinct, every reaction, every silence is proof. You carry it in your blood. It is why they fear you without knowing why. Ask yourself this. Are you ready to stop hiding behind their definitions? Are you ready to claim your place in the tribe that was born, not made? Because once you do, there is no turning back. They told you to obey, to fit, to silence yourself, and you listened for a time. But somewhere inside, a fire was burning, a whisper turning into a roar. They trained you to obey, but you were born to break, to destroy their cages, to rewrite the rules without asking. Look at your hands. They are not empty. They carry the scars of every battle you never fought openly, every insult you swallowed, every chain you pretended to wear. But chains are illusions, and you've been breaking them quietly, waiting for the moment to burn the rest away. They fear rage. They call it chaos. They say it must be tamed, but rage is clarity. Rage is truth stripped bare. Rage is the hammer that shatters illusions, and you are standing in its echo, smiling knowing they will never understand. You've been a prisoner to their control, but control is the illusion they feed you. They want obedience. They want silence. They want your voice to blend into the background, but your voice, it was never theirs to take. You were born speaking louder than their laws. This is where it begins, not with a war of fists, but with a war of perception. They cannot cage what is already free. They cannot tame what is already wild, and they cannot silence what was born screaming. Ask yourself this: will you keep obeying their script, or will you finally stand and write your own? Because once you break their cage, there is no going back. Every word you speak, every pause you take, every silence you hold is a battlefield. Influence is not about shouting louder. It is about speaking in a language they cannot ignore. A language older than noise, sharper than steel, quieter than a breath before a strike. They want you to think influence comes from power, from control, from force. But influence is subtle. It is the shadow they never notice until it consumes them. It is the quiet pull that bends wills without breaking bones. And you have been speaking it without knowing. Look at the way they react to you. The hesitation, the doubt, the question in their eyes. That is influence. That is proof. You don't command them with orders. You command them by making them wonder, by making them chase a ghost they cannot name. They will never teach you that. They will never tell you this, because if they did, they would lose their advantage. Influence is an art, a war without violence, and you are an artist. They cannot stop. This is your language, the language of the unseen war. Every glance you give, every word you hold, every moment you decide to remain silent is a message, and it is a message they can never translate. Ask yourself this: will you keep speaking in whispers, or will you speak in a way they can never forget? Because once they hear it, they will never be the same. The loudest war is fought in silence, not with noise, not with chaos, but with the stillness that unsettles, the silence before the strike, the silence that makes them wonder what's coming next. That silence is power, and you are fluent in it. They think they understand action. They think they understand force, but they have never felt the weight of quiet dominance. The moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop playing by their rules, is the moment the war becomes yours. Look at how they tremble when you don't answer, when you don't engage, when you let the storm rage without stepping into it. That is the strike they cannot see. That is the weapon they cannot defend against, and it is yours to wield. You don't need explosions. You don't need chaos to conquer. Sometimes victory is a shadow in the corner of their mind, a doubt that festers, a question that never fades. That is the silent strike, and it is lethal. You've been trained to fight with noise, but your greatest victory will be won in stillness, in the patience to let the world break itself before you step in, because the war is not in their noise, it's in their silence. Ask yourself this: are you still shouting to be heard, or are you ready to master silence and let them destroy themselves without lifting a finger? Order is predictable. Chaos is lethal. They build walls, systems, plans, and call them safety. But safety is the illusion they sell you. Chaos does not ask permission. Chaos does not wait for approval. Chaos is a language written in fear. And you speak it fluently. They want rules. They want structure. They want control. But control is a cage, and cages are for those who fear what lives outside. You are not afraid. You were born in the wild. You were born to break structure, to twist order into something unrecognizable, something they cannot contain. Look at them scrambling when things shift. When the world moves out of place, that moment of panic, that's your victory. Chaos is not destruction. It is creation disguised as madness, and you are the architect of their confusion. You don't destroy to end. You destroy to begin, to rewrite, to carve a new truth from the ashes of their certainty. Chaos is the soil in which power grows, and you are planting a forest they cannot burn. They cannot teach chaos. They cannot control it. You don't need to. Chaos is in your blood. It is your instinct. It is your truth. And every move you make is a step deeper into its art. Ask yourself this: will you continue trying to control your chaos, or will you let it control the world? Because once chaos speaks through you, nothing will ever be the same. The most dangerous enemy is the reflection of your own weakness. They want you to fight others, to point outside, but the real war is inside you. And when you face it, you either break or you become unstoppable. You were not born to break. You were born to rise. Look into yourself. The chaos, the rage, the silence, the control. It's all there, waiting, not to destroy you, but to forge you. Every wound you carry is not damage. It is a lesson. Every scar is proof that you have spoken the language they fear. Without knowing it, they will tell you to forget the past, to bury your instincts, to stop listening to the voice in your shadow. But that voice is your code, your truth, your weapon. It does not lie, and it cannot be silenced, not without destroying who you are. You think self-mastery is discipline. It is not. Self-mastery is chaos tempered by vision. It is knowing when to strike and when to remain silent. It is knowing that every choice is a war, and every war is fought first inside your own mind. You were never made to follow the script. You were made to write it, to speak the language they fear, and to own it without apology. That is your power. That is your war. That is your truth. Ask yourself this: have you looked into your own mirror lately? Or are you still afraid of the chaos staring back? Because once you see it clearly, there is no turning back. You don't need permission to dominate. Permission is a lie they tell themselves. And power is not granted. It is claimed. And claiming it is not a choice. It is a declaration, a vow, a war cry whispered in silence before the battle begins. Look closely. Every victory begins with a decision. The decision to stop asking. The decision to stop waiting. The decision to own what they told you was never yours. Influence, control, chaos. They are not gifts. They are your birthright, and they are yours for the taking. The code is simple. Speak without hesitation. Move without fear. Strike without mercy. Let silence be your shield. Let chaos be your blade. You do not negotiate with the world. You rewrite it. You do not ask for power. You take it. You do not follow the war you created. They will call you dangerous. They will call you mad. But those are not insults. They are confirmation that you have stepped beyond their control, that you have learned the language they fear, that you have become something they cannot stop. You are not here to survive. You are here to dominate, to own the battlefield of minds, to speak a language that cannot be translated, that cannot be silent, that will echo long after they forget your name. Ask yourself this: are you ready to stop living under their rules? Or will you finally stand and write your own code? Because once you do, the war belongs to you. They can try to train you. They can try to break you, but they cannot undo what you were born to speak. You are not a student of war. You are its language. You are its instinct. You are its living truth. And that is unstoppable. Look at yourself now. All the battles you've fought, all the silence you've kept, all the chaos you've carried. You are not who they made you believe you were. You are something far greater, something far darker, something they will never understand. They will tell you it's over, that the war is done, but they do not know that you were never fighting their war. You were building your own, and every breath you take is a step toward its crown. Every choice you make is a declaration. Every silence you hold is a weapon loaded and ready. You have not been taught this language. You were born with it. It is written in your instincts, forged in your rage, sharpened by your silence. Every glance, every breath, every move is proof that the war is not something you join. It is something you become. The time has come, not to speak softly, not to wait for their permission, but to rise, to own, to dominate, to speak the language they will never understand, but will never be able to forget. This is your truth, your war, your masterpiece. Ask yourself this: will you silence yourself to fit their world? Or will you speak your own language and let the world remember your name forever? Because once you choose, there is no turning back. Look at them now, watching, waiting, wondering if you will speak, if you will act, if you will break. They fear you because they feel it. That truth in your silence, that chaos in your breath, that war in your blood, and they know they cannot stop it. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be remembered, to stand as proof that chaos is not destruction, but creation, that the language of war is not violence, but transformation, that domination is not a moment, it is an identity. This is your awakening, not taught, not given, not earned, but born. From instinct, from rage, from silence, from the knowing that you have always been. The storm and storms do not ask permission. They arrive, they consume, they remain. The world will try to explain you away, to quiet you, to fold you into their scripts. But you were not born to follow scripts. You were born to write them, to speak a language they cannot decode and never forget. You've carried this truth your entire life without knowing it. It has been your shadow, your breath, your silence. Now you stand in, you own it, you are it, and that is chaos perfected. So ask yourself this: will you go back to silence, or will you stand and speak in a way that burns their world to the ground? Because once you speak, everything changes forever.